are Slade and Michael, and we're playing the Indie Hack. We find ourselves once again in the swamps of Calax Nur, following Abel, Hand of the Three Ladies, an exorcist, after just discovering that the strange, silent monks had not poisoned him, and that his wounds are healing nicely. Is that a fair assessment?
Correct. So I think last time Abel was still there. He was trying to get some of the monks to talk to him, but I don't think any of them had at the time.
So he just kind of wandered away after receiving, or after checking that his wound is fine.
Correct.
And
yeah, all I have left now are small inflamed circles from where the guys, or the things, claw went into me.
So you have your sort of free reign of this strange monastery in the swamps. These monks give you sidelong looks. You see one of them who is a little bit different. He doesn't have the shaven head that these other guys have, and he's got in one hand a little needle and thread, but he's not using it at the time, and the thread seems to go up somewhere into his robes. It's not totally clear.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll approach him, nod to him.
His eyes go a little bit wide, and he lifts up his right sleeve, and you can see that what's happened is that he's stitched his own flesh like a garment. It doesn't appear that he's trying to close any wound either. He's just made these kind of seemingly cosmetic stitches in his arm.
I point at it and kind of shrug, what are you doing, you weird fool?
I can speak to you, my friend, but the cost is quite great. And he does an additional stitch.
Can we just... I really want to be can we just write things in the dirt to each other so I don't have to watch you stitch your arm?
Do you offer that as an option?
Yeah.
Okay. He thinks very carefully, and you can tell he's fighting back a little bit of pain. And he says, I'm afraid that would go against some of our teachings. And he makes one more stitch.
Then I guess we should stay brief here. What is your purpose here? What is this place?
So again, he takes his time. He plans out his words very carefully, and he lets out a little sigh. He says, "We are the silent monks of the Marsh," and does one more stitch, and kind of fights back some pain. My purpose here is to be an interpreter between peoples, and he does one more stitch.
Ugh.
You see a little dot of blood kind of run down his arm.
Is there something I can do to... Abel probably looks at him, looks at the arm. He really doesn't want to ask him any more questions now. Abel's a religious zealot. Not that much of a religious zealot, I don't think. I think there's a certain point where he reaches.
This guy's gone pretty far down that path, let's say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Abel's probably looking at him kind of is that what happens? Is there anything I can do to repay you all? My wounds are healed.
He again pauses for an awfully long time and says, we are here to help you and others like you. Does another stitch. He sits down now where he was standing, and you can tell he's kind of trying to shake off a bit of the pain.
So if you're here to help people like me, who else has come? Oh, no, I don't want to ask him any more questions. We have to here. How do you know who I am?
Again, he takes his time and says, I've seen you, and also a crying woman in a dream. One more stitch. And then he says, I know where to find her, and does one more stitch.
Now it's Abel's turn to take the long pause of, think about what to say. Actually, I'd probably grab him, not too forcefully, but pull him close and, how do you know my dream? That's a dream that I just had here. Or who gave you this vision? Or how do you know about all of this?
He says, we monks have prophetic dreams as well, and does another stitch.
Fucking stitching.
He's looking a little pale at this point.
Look it. Can you? The other monks were able to shake their heads yes and no. Can you shake your head just yes and no to a few questions?
He nods.
Then, are you certain of what your vision was?
He shakes his head.
No, I didn't think it would be that clear. Can you lead me to wherever you saw in your vision?
He nods.
Is it very far away from here?
Shakes his head.
But you guarantee she will be there.
He shakes his head.
Let me gather my things then.
He nods.
I go and grab my sword and everything else. Strap on the armor, make sure everything's tight, walk back out.
He's standing now. He looks okay. Maybe he's had a drink of water or something.
Can one of the others lead me, or are you the only one who saw the vision?
So he shakes his head at the first bit and nods at the second bit.
Are you going to be able to make it?
He nods hesitantly. It feels like a probably.
Tell me if we need a rest then, but let us move. This is what I came to the swamps for.
He slowly nods.
Oh no, I follow him hesitantly. I'm looking around, seeing what's there, hearing the noises of the swamp.
There are some frogs in this part of the swamp, which now is turning a bit marshier, more sort of grasses and low vegetation rather than the random trees and things of the swamp. You can hear the frogs making a kind of chirping peep, peep, peep sound. And he leads you again further north. It's only an afternoon's walk to where he begins to slow down and gesture towards a kind of low hill, and he's kind of pointing that you should go around it, that you two should go around it.
Does it seem like there's any kind of man-made paths or anything where people have walked before?
The path where you're at right now is pretty sparse. I mean, it doesn't look like it gets a lot of traffic. So we've arrived at some other place of arcane power. What does it look like?
I would totally think it would be like the hill's almost like a barrow of some kind, maybe like there's a temple of something inside it, and there's an entryway on the other side of it. Are there any like runes or anything saying what it is around it or over it?
No, it appears to be pretty worn by time and weather and vegetation growth. If there is something, you'd have to scrape a good chunk of moss off of it to find it.
No time for that. I look at the monk again. Your vision, it says she's in here?
He's nodding.
Okay, pull out the sword, ready the shield, and I move into the crag or the cave.
All right. And I think we leave it there.
Hi, this is Jason from The Gauntlet. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. We have many other Comic Strip AP shows available, each organized in their own sequential playlist for easy listening. Just go to youtube.com and search for Gauntlet RPG.